another weekly recap of Trinidad Bhojpuri words and phrase. Now, this is perhaps going to be the shortest recap video we've had because there was a bit of a lull, and that was because I was in recovery, but we are back up and running. So let's just recap very quickly the words from the last week. So we had our Kaise Bole segment, which was Kaise Bole to clean Hindustani. How do you say clean in Hindustani? Pinjara. And Trinidad Bhojpuri phrase or expression, JAADAA, NEEMAK, MARCHAA, or CHEENEE, DHARLE. So let's catch up with Vinay of the Cutlass magazine. And guess who's back? Dr. Vinay of Caribbean Hindustani. Hello everyone and welcome to another weekly recap of Trinidad Bhojpuri words and phrase. Joining me today, Vinay, Harrichan of the Cutlass magazine, and I have Dr. Vinay of Caribbean Hindustani. So let's get cracking with our Kaise Bole segment. How do you say something in Hindustani? So Kaise Bole to clean in Hindustani. How do you say to clean in Hindustani? So let's catch up with Vinay of the Cutlass magazine. Hi Vinay, good to see you.
Hey Karen, nice to see you too. So Kaise Bole Hindustani mein, for this segment we did Kaise Bole to clean Hindustani mein, and for us in our Trinidad Bhojpuri we have Sapha Kare. So Sapha is clean and Kare is the verb meaning to do something. So Sapha Kare means to clean. And looking at the comments we got from a couple of people, some people mentioned Safa Kare, and a lot of people were either Sarnami or Fijian. So it seems like Safa Kare is what they have in Sarnami, Hindustani, or Fiji Bat. And then some people mentioned Saf Karna, and Saf Karna is what you would hear for to clean in standard Hindi and standard Urdu. But for us in Trinidad Bhojpuri, to repeat, it's Safa Kare.
All right. Dr. Bhimal, I think there was a proverb that you had shared with us.
Yeah, the proverb was mandil sapha, baki man na sapha. The mandir is clean, pure, but the heart is not pure. And with reference to people saying that the mandir is the place to be to kind of be spiritually clean, but your heart has to be clean too, essentially.
And again, we noted the use of the L and the R, mandil versus mandir.
Yeah, because like Palwar and Mandil, according to Peggy Mohan's thesis reference, that's hypercorrection, where we would notice that it was Zara in Bhojpuri, they try to hypercorrect, thinking it's more correct because Hindu is the standard, to change all the original Ras to Da, Mandil and Palwar. As in Hindi, we notice it is Mandir and Parivar.
And by the way, is this where we get the word sapi?
Yes, one popular one that your listeners who are oriented at Bollywood might know is Galat, which is error, and an galti, fault. So in the same way, sapha, and you add the e, and you get sapi, an object used for cleaning.
All right, we're very much familiar with sapi, aren't we, Vinay? Let's move on to another Trinidad Bhojpuri word. We followed up with Pinjara. So is it Pinjara or Pinjara?
Some people, for example, in songs you might hear it extended to Pinjara, but typically in spoken Bhojpuri you just hear Pinjara. And so that, for definition, is a cage. And typically it's a cage for any animal, but contextually a lot of times you hear it being used almost synonymously with a bird cage. In a lot of songs, for example, when we hear Pinjara or Pinjare, it's typically used in context of being a bird cage. However, it can be used just as a cage for animals in general. And one of two song references we have is a very popular song that you'll hear at a lot of Indian funerals, and it's the song Pinjare ke Panche Re, Tera Dard Na Jane Koi. And that's the Kavi Pradeep song from the 1957 film Nagmani. And you hear that Pinjare ke panchi re, tera dard na jane koi.
पिंजरे के पंछी रे
Which means a captured or imprisoned bird, a bird caught within a cage, nobody understands your pain. And you hear with the standard Hindi kind of grammar rule that pinjara becomes pinjare when you add the ending me. So pinjara becomes pinjare me.
Dr. Bimal, have you come across any other songs with the word pinjara?
Yeah. So a lot of people, because Bollywood is so in vogue, usually would follow that. Especially among the younger generations of individuals who are descendants of indentured laborers. But a lot of them don't know. They know their grandparents speak Bhojpuri. Don't know there was uh, quite a vibrant Bhojpuri film industry. And this song is from one of the films, Sonowa Ke Pinjara Mein.
सोनवा के पिंजरा में बंद भइल हाय राम
Which means in the golden cage.
And now we move on to our Trinidad Bhojpuri phrase or expression. And this is so food related. Well, it was food related. So, JAADAA, NEEMAK, MARCHAA, CHEENEE, DHARLE. Not all together at once, either or. So, JAADAA, NEEMAK, or MARCHAA, or CHEENEE, DHARLE. So, Vinay, this was your phrase. You came up with this one by yourself, or you heard this one being used in your household?
I heard it used in a couple of different instances. I heard some people say it in kind of a Trinidadian Creole. You put too much nimak or marcha chini. Or I had it used in the actual sentence from my nanny who knew a good bit of Bhojpuri. But we'll go ahead and we'll break it up and then I'll say the full sentence. So a lot of people know nimak is the Bhojpuri word for salt to differentiate from the Hindi nimak. And then marcha is the Bhojpuri word for pepper. And chini is the Bhojpuri word for sugar. So when you say JAADAA, NEEMAK, MARCHAA, CHEENEE, DHARLE, you're saying I put too much salt, pepper, and sugar. Now, if you wanted to say you put too much salt, pepper, and sugar, then you would say Tu JAADAA, NEEMAK, MARCHAA, CHEENEE, DHARLE. So the DHARLE for me or I becomes DHARLE for tu, for you.
Dr. Bhimal, let me just bring you in. What's the difference between JAADAA and Bahut? Is there a big difference?
Right, and then it's the English speaker because most of the people or descendants who are audience, they tend to be English speakers, right? From Suriname and Dutch. So for the English speakers, too much is one adjective / adverb, and a lot, right? A lot of Spanish speakers in Trinidad, I know, say plenty because they know that's what we say in Trinidad English Creole for Trinidadian English Creole speakers. So plenty, which would be bahut, right? However, too much is not plenty, right? I want plenty versus he wants too much. You can see the difference there. So by reference in Spanish, you have specific words, demasiado versus mucho. In the same way, Trinidad Bhojpuri, we have different words. So for plenty will be bahut. There are other words that we had explored in the past, but when you're specifically saying too much as it a bit extra for you, you say JAADAA. Another word we could use there is basi. But JAADAA, those who reference the Hindi would be zyada, which you use in the same context. So JAADAA specifically means too much versus bahut, which is a lot or plenty. So let's use that expression quickly. Hum na jani bati aawe Hindustani. I don't know how to speak Hindustani. If you put hum na jani bahut jada Hindustani bati aawe, it'll mean I don't know how to speak too much Hindustani.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. So now we know. And could you just break down the dhare and the dharle? And dharle.
Yeah, so dhare essentially is the infinitive to put. So past tense, dharli is I put or placed, whereas dharle will be you put.
All right, so that wraps up our Trinidad Bhojpuri features. It's a very short week, but we're back on track with some new words for you, including our Kaise Bole segment. So we look forward to your interaction, and we look forward to another recap. As we wrap up, Vinay, could you just remind us of contact?
Yes, feel free to follow me at Cutlass Magazine on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, or you can always send an email at Sundays to cutlasspodcast@gmail.com.
And Dr. Bimal, how can folks get in touch with you?
You could check the handles at Caribbean Hindustani on Facebook, YouTube, and then the webpage itself, caribbeanhindustani.org.
Awesome. All right, guys. So we're looking forward to catching up with you again come next weekend for our weekly recap. All right. So Agila Barley, both of you, thank you so much. Okay, good.
Bye.
Okay, so that's our weekly recap of Trinidad Bhojpuri Words and Phrase. This has been a KDC production in collaboration with the Cutlass Magazine and the Caribbean Hindustani. Lord, breezy.